North Korea, infamous for its brutal take on punishments for its citizens. Under the rule of Kim Jong Un, the people, especially women, are subjected to unspeakable tortures. Imagine getting sent to a prison camp for enjoying music. How cruel can a ruler be to make his subjects watch their daughter getting shot? Kim Jong Un, who took over for his father Kim Jong-il in 2011, has carried on his ruthless father's policies by imprisoning political offenders' families for generations and kidnapping and torturing defectors who flee from the country. People in North Korea are always imprisoned without even a chance to defend themselves. The offenses are listening to foreign radio, tossing away a piece of paper with an image of Kim Jong-il, or making a casual comment that can be taken as an insult to the government. One woman was arrested for singing a South Korean pop song. It didn't matter that she had learned the song from a North Korean propaganda movie. Sometimes people are detained and arrested without knowing what they did. Even the slightest criticism of the government is met with abuse by the North Korean leadership. For women, the government uses rape, torture, forced abortions, hunger, enslavement, and even murder as tools to maintain control and to put down dissent. So join us as we expose the unspeakable punishments North Korean women had to suffer. Beginning with number 5, forced labor camps. The labor camps are a nightmare for every North Korean woman. They are forced to work in the camps continuously for 20 hours every day. Up to 200,000 people, including men and women, are thought to be detained in North Korean labor camps on betrayal charges. And their charges? They were heard criticizing the current leadership or caught trying to escape. Some are sent behind bars for having ties to someone the government deemed dangerous. The labor camp inmates lack access to cleanliness, sanitation, and medical care, resulting in significant bodily and mental weary. But that is not the worst part. They are subjected to harsh beatings, extended stress positions, hunger, and psychological torment. Along with the turmoils, women have to endure sexual abuse from the guards of the camp. North Korea is home to around 20 prison labor camps. These inmates are tortured, starved to death, punished for practicing their religion, and executed after being imprisoned. Hunger and forced labor are used to keep prisoners under control. The severe shortage of food often leads to chronic health problems. Some of them try to eat bugs or grass out of hunger, but prison guards may beat or kill inmates who are caught eating mice, bugs, tree bark, grass, or lizards. Women have a very shorter lifespan in the labor camp. Some inmates are even made to dig their graves, and others are forced to witness their executions. Depending on the gravity of the offense, inmates are held in these prison camps for decades or perhaps the rest of their life. Some are even born into the system. That brings us to number 4. That is the 3-generational punishment. 3 generations of punishment are outlined in North Korean law. If you commit a crime, your children and grandchildren will be subjected to the full effect of your penalty, often a life sentence in jail. Even the children who were born in prison grow up as inmates because blood is guilty in them. This rule was established in 1950 to erase the bloodline of North Korean usurpers after the war. There are many different sorts of punishments for crimes. It can range from death to incarceration, forced labor, exile to remote locations, forfeiture of property, fines, and loss of rights. But even for small offenses against the state committed by a single family member, entire families have been sent to prison. Once the whole family of a young child who had written death to Kim Jong-il was transported to a labor camp. Nephews and cousins have been fired and sacked from their professions due to the crimes of a distant relative they don't even know. Another well-known victim of this law of the family of Sung Hai-rim. She was a former mistress of North Korean leader Kim Jong-il from 1994 to 2011, and the mother of his first son, Kim Jong-nam. They were married later, but Sung eventually turned into a potential palace embarrassment because of the divorce and being 5 years older than Kim Jong-il. Many of Sung's friends and family were put behind bars by the North Korean secret police out of concern that they would leak information about their relationship and thereby ruin the reputation of the family. One of those imprisoned was Sung's closest friend, who was sent to a gulag with concertina wire where her parents, husband, and kid were killed. It was common for cousins, nephews, grandparents, and in-laws to receive punishments for something they had no part in. Number 3, subjected to experiments. All these torture methods are mainly subjected by the people in labor camps. The atmosphere of the camp is brutal and inhuman for both men and women. The inmates, especially women, are often subjected to lethal poisonous gas. Human lives are treated badly and valued as equal guinea pigs' lives. They are used as the test subject for different chemical and biological experiments. Sometimes scientists use prisoners to study the changes a poisoning gas would make in the human body. But after the experiment, most of the women are either dead or left to die in a few days. Sometimes the prisoners are forced to sit in a confined, closed area, and deadly nerve agents are released to them. They are also subjected to radiation and even deadly pathogens. As the outside world has no connection whatsoever with North Korean authority, most of these crimes are gone neglected or unnoticed. At number 2 is starvation and torture. Starvation is common in North Korean streets. While the parade and marches coming out of the country scream wealth and pageantry, it is a bitter truth that 90% of North Korean citizens are struggling under starvation. But those people who are admitted to the labor camp are subjected to prolonged torture along with starvation. They were treated as punch bags. The sadistic prison guards brutally torture the inmates both physically and mentally. For women, the torture is physical, mental, and sexual. The outside world got a glimpse of what was happening inside when a North Korean defect was brave enough to talk about the cruelties he had to endure when he was in the country. The labor camp, as the name suggests, makes people work till their bone wears out, with no food. The workers, including women, are subjected to this cruelty for 20 hours a day. Remember, these are the punishments for privately or publicly criticizing Kim Jong Un. They are subjected to water torture, where a woman is forced to lie down and water is poured drop by drop on her forehead for hours. If you feel that is not brutal, just try it out for at least 5 minutes, and you will realize how mentally and physically torturing that action is. Along with electric shock, they are subjected to pigeon torture, where a woman in the camp is forced to tie her hands in the back and act as if sitting in a chair. This grueling position of the body, where the whole body weight weighs down the knees, is the most terrible act anyone has ever invented. The aim of authorities, by using starvation and torture as punishments, is to try and kill the spirit of the people. Even food, the most essential thing for sustaining life, is banned for working people. Basic necessity like food is seen as a tool of power, and it shows how cruel the minds of Kim Jong Un and his people are. Finally, at number 1 is public execution. The first known widespread public executions under Kim Jong-un's rule was in late 2013, when thousands of North Koreans were forced to attend firing squad executions performed at stadiums. Public executions are seen as a good technique to control the population by the authorities. Witness accounts claim that public executions are for drug trafficking, watching or distributing South Korean films, and other crimes against the regime. Execution is done by shooting or hanging. Up to 80 people were publicly murdered in North Korea in November 2013. Some of the offenses are petty, as owning a Bible or watching South Korean films. The alleged offenders were executed publicly in 7 locations throughout North Korea, and this is the number of recorded executions. Hanging seems to have stopped since 2005, and the vast majority of executions take place by firing squad. Riverbanks, fields, and other open areas are the most frequently used locations for public executions. Often hundreds, and occasionally even more than 1,000 spectators are present in the public execution. Nobody has access to North Korea or any of its official archives, so researchers were forced to rely on the recollections of escapees who agreed to be interviewed. The most recent confirmed execution took place in 2015. It takes years for North Koreans who flee to China to travel to South Korea, so it is impossible to determine whether there have been any improvements as a result of negotiations with the United States. Why do you think other nations are not intervening for the well-being of North Korean citizens? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.